And we're live. So we're going to show you guys under the hood of the new Building Experts Institute, Defeating Unethical Engineer Tactics, which is a brand new name for a class that we've been doing in person and on Zoom calls a few times over the last couple of years, and it's been adapting slowly over those years, but it being online makes a huge difference. So I thought you guys might want to see a little bit of what it looks like being online. So if you have any questions, though, feel free to throw them in the comments, and we'll try to.
Hey, Matt, can I comment on that real quick?
Yeah.
So I've actually talked to a couple of our mutual clients that went through your training, that do restoration referral system stuff, that were like, yes, the content is awesome. It's helped us. But 6 months down the road, a year down the road, as they got into other claims with engineers and maybe had components that they hadn't dealt with previously, they couldn't remember all of the things and they didn't take notes on all the things. And so I think that's going to be a huge game changer for having this course and being able to look stuff up as you're going through a situation and know what to do next.
I mean, that was one of the major comments that I had with most of the courses that I used to teach. There's so much information that I throw at people in an 8-hour session. It's jam-packed. There's no time for sponsors to get up and talk.
Yeah, drinking from the fire hose.
Exactly.
You're gonna miss
which is always good. So trying to jam pack in 8 hours worth of information into a single day that you have to try to remember at the same time is nearly impossible. So this course is nearly perfect for an online course. And there's resources and things available now that you weren't able to have access to before. You'll be able to have access to updates and different things. The benefit of this being an online class and a subscription to it is that you can actually get updates as things change, because this class exists. And so the carriers are going to have to adapt. If enough people actually utilize the strategies in this to overcome the unethical engineer strategies, then they're going to change how they do it. And we're going to have to stay on top of it. And so it will change. So you guys, I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like. This is the course. I'm trying to scroll on the screen. This is all the different modules that are a part of this class, and it's full. There's quite a bit going on here, and each one of these has its own little sections inside of a section. We've got email templates. We've got phone scripts for dealing with the engineers and the adjusters and talking to them about why the engineer is coming out. We've got a whole section on what it is that is happening and how it's working, why it's working. If you can identify 100% of what the problem is, then it's a lot easier to figure out what the solution is. You can understand why the solution is the way it is. We can teach you guys how to start working in such a way with all of your claims that you can identify what's really going on and maybe even identify what the denial is going to be in advance. Start playing some chess instead of checkers. I thought we might open one of these up.
Yeah.
Go here. I'm getting a little nervous because my screen is showing that my internet is not.
It looks
very
fine from
stable.
my side.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play the video because of that, though. There's a storm outside and the internet is showing real weak.
Okay.
I don't know if that'll end up playing.
See what happens.
See what happens. A lot of times when you get online courses, you just don't have the production value. And so it's like boring.
Insurance companies are required to have a reasonable basis for the decision for the claim. So if
don't have enough time,
your claim, they have to have
speed Matt up.
Reasonably point to and say, look, we reasonably noticed, we made this decision in a reasonable way. That way, if they're wrong,
you want to take a lot of time?
Mistake
Slow me
and it
down.
wasn't intentional.
Like molasses coming out of your mouth.
So they can utilize a third-party expert to provide a third-party opinion that if that third
I mean,
party
I'm really proud of the production level that John was able to execute the way that you've structured the course. And I know that didn't happen overnight, being able to really kind of figure out not only what are all the things to teach, but how can you teach them so that people learn them and are able to make use of it. I'm really proud of what we've put together here on this. So you're in the course right there right now. Do you have the website pulled up as well? Is that your
I do.
other tab?
Well, wow.
So for anybody that is curious about this, you can go to that website. You can check out. This is the first course that BEI has put out. And
so if you click courses, even though there's an S there, it's really only going to bring up one.
Correct. For now. And that won't be the only one. Landing page here. There's a demo, kind of a video there, and it breaks down all the information for you guys. So if you are working within a public adjusting firm, a roofing company, maybe you're a first party litigator, and you really just want to make sure that you have all the necessary tools to give yourself and by extension your policyholders the best chances of success, this is the way to do it. And if you scroll back up real quick to those buttons, I think those are going to be important.
Buttons.
For anybody that's watching this that is like, yes, I need this course. Essentially, the way that it's structured, you can get access to this. It gives you a year of access. It gives you all the updates that are happening throughout that year. And it'll renew at that $19.97 a year price. If you want to just say, hey, I need this information, I want to continue to get updates as long as we possibly can, you can renew it, or you can get that $24.97 renewal, or excuse me, lifetime price, meaning you pay it once, you're done, you own it. Right now, what's kind of unique for this month only, and the dates are on there for the month of April, we're doing essentially that lifetime access for the annual price. And so, save yourself $500. Ultimately, $2,500, $2,000, whatever the price is that you're paying. Is if you're dealing with engineers on claims, this is going to have a massive, massive impact on whether or not those claims get approved, on whether or not the, how much they get approved for, how long they take. So I think that ROI should be pretty instantaneous if you're dealing with engineers on claims at all. And I know I've done that a handful of times. I wish I had this training before all that happened. I didn't take the engineering course until after I had dealt with engineers, and I haven't dealt with one since. But Matt, do you want to kind of talk about
how engineers are utilized? It's
increase
a very
in that
sophisticated practice. I don't know if I'm talking over you. There might be a little bit of a delay now because of the internet issue, but there is somewhat of a sophisticated practice there. The engineers that are utilized, the tactics that are there are very, very sophisticated. So understanding that if an engineer is coming out on your property, you want to assume that you're likely going to get a denial out of it. And it's probably going to happen. So if you are likely going to get a denial, then you need all the resources, all the tools in your tool belt ready to be able to go into that meeting knowing what is about to happen up front so that you can set the thing up for success from the beginning. Or at the very least to understand what is happening if you get involved in it after the fact. Part of this class is also evaluating the engineer report afterwards and evaluating the denial letter and finding out if there's really anything appropriate there. We really dig in deep into those engineer reports. This is something that I've been doing a lot of on the side with the engineer report evaluation service that we've been having. But I think this founder special is extremely useful. especially since there is this other button up here that eventually might get clicked.
Check that out. Yeah. So you might want to go through this course before that gets clicked. So we set that up for insurance carriers.
They might decide that they're approving too many things. And the party's over, and they might say, well, I'll just click this button and pay these guys $1 million a month to not sell this course instead. So you want to beat the insurance companies to this. You don't have to pay $1 million a month, but if they do, then we'll have to teach you guys something else.
I think thinking through the numbers, that would actually be a really smart decision for them.
It really would be.
So, I mean, think about, if we've got 1,000 public adjusters, contractors, attorneys that go through this course and each get an extra $1 million in approvals a year. That's $1 billion. For the low price of $12 million a year, they can save themselves $1 billion.
Yeah, come on.
Carriers are all about the numbers. So, I don't want to, call you or myself a sellout, but the shoe fits.
But you never know.
Throwing it out there. I might forward that link to Steve Badger. See if he bites.
That would be crazy. Yeah, we're pretty excited about this. There's a lot of effort that has gone into this. The whole team has really put a lot of work to make this possible on the back end, so that all of these little modules work out perfectly, and everything's there. I mean, including all the additional resources that are here. The resources are real fun too. There's research in here that's in your favor. You ever go looking for stuff, trying to find that right research paper that really says whatever is against what the engineer is saying? There's a whole library of it in here. And we'll keep that updated. All of these things will stay updated because it's all going to change as these tactics are dealt with. That has to. I've already actually seen a few things updated with certain engineering firms that I've had to change in this course because of some of the stuff that we've done live. So yeah, it is something that is alive in itself. It has to continually update. We have to stay ahead of the curve. So having a subscription base to this makes sense. I would jump on that live or lifetime deal if you can. The founder special, get that while it's a 1-year access. That goes away at the end of this month. That's not a deal that we come or bring back. That's it. So it's one of those things. It will help us. It's why we're even doing it. It'll help us because we're a brand new school and we need to get some other courses up and running. And it took a lot of effort to get this one up. So You'll be helping us by putting some additional funds in our account right away. And that's what makes you a founder. So we appreciate that.
And by the way, I do want to make a point for the companies that are looking at this. You don't need to buy a subscription for each person within the company. These logins, we're setting it up so that everyone in your company can go through the training, can go through the course, and you can use it as that resource ongoing. So don't look at this as, hey, I need to pay $19.97 per head. That's just for the team. So if you've got a team of 10, 20 people, you think about that as a cost of, $100 to $200 per person to get really good at understanding how to beat these engineers when they're acting unfairly, when they're being brought out to deny the claim for the carrier, essentially.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. We should be able to see those. This is broadcasting to several places. The only place I won't see comments on live is if you comment on LinkedIn. But if you comment on Facebook or YouTube, we'll be able to see those comments and be able to respond to them immediately. So if you have anything or any questions, we'd love to answer them. There's plenty to talk about on this. So you think there's anything we should really show them inside this thing?
Yeah, so you scrolled through pretty quickly, but I
did.
think it'd be
There's so
helpful
much.
for people, I know, to kind of see what those things are. So I think, like you mentioned, being able to look at what is the problem here, what are all the components of that problem, so we can really deeply understand what.
Yeah, so we're getting into all the things that you guys are dealing with regularly.
Solution.
You might get wear and tear, improper installation denials on you all the time. This really talks about why that works and how that works and what it is that they're actually saying, because they're not saying what they're saying. I almost want to give a Princess Bride reference right there. When we talk about the solution, we've got this broken down into 5 steps that you can literally insert into your current workflows to have this as part of your normal structure. This is what you do on every single claim, regardless of whether there's an engineer or not, and it can just be triggered or not based on that. So we break that down, then we get into.
I think one of the reasons that this is so effective is because it's not something that you deal with on every claim, right? Contractors have gotten experience and they've learned how to deal with adjusters denying a claim that maybe is hail damage or wind damage, or sloping a roof, and and when it shouldn't be sloped, advising repairs when it should be a replacement. They deal with those things very frequently. I think because it is a little bit more complex of a situation, and because it is less common for the contractor to deal with, it the engineers and the carriers, by extension, are eating their lunch. The engineers and the carriers deal with engineers and carriers all day long, every day, and so they know the game, and they they basically just hustle the contractors who or the public adjusters, frankly, who public adjusters probably dealing with more so, but even so, it's not something that they're seeing on every claim, that they're having it as much experience with as the opposing side.
There's plenty to talk about each one of these little sections. There's a video that goes along with it where I explain things pretty deeply. There's an outline that's there so that you can work off that outline with your own internal notes, and it will constantly be updated. This isn't done. You don't gain lifetime access to a dead page. We're going to have to stay on top of this. And This is a passion for me. I honestly, you guys know me, I'm always pointing out the bullshit in this industry. And I think the biggest bullshit in this industry is some of the stuff that happens when engineers are involved. There is a problem there. There is a clear tactic that is used, and it is not ethical. And there is some problems. There's plenty of engineers that I've met that don't play in those tactics, and things go smoothly. It's amazing. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, they probably lose their job most of the time.
Well, it's usually the smaller firms, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, before long, yeah.
They just don't get hired very often. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. It looks like you don't. So I hope you got to see a little bit more under the hood. We might show you a little bit more later on. But I've got to get ready for the listen to this bull show at this point. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Matt, and we'll be happy to answer your questions over Messenger. Check out the website. It's buildingexperts.institute. .institute is a thing. Buildingexperts.institute. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I got the last word. Ha ha.